Hello guys. So in today's video, we'll understand what are DAX queries and how do we apply them in Power BI. Firstly, we'll understand what is the full form of DAX and then we'll use it in a practical scenario. DAX is data analysis expression. Now, data can be considered as information or elements that are stored in a particular data model. Data model is a place where you can see how exactly data is organized within it, what are the attributes, what are the facts, what are the dimensions of that particular data. Analysis is the process of extracting insights from the data that you have stored in the data model. And expression, well, we'll understand that directly in Power BI. So let's go. When you will open Power BI for the first time, this is a kind of interface that you will see. So what you'll do is click on this blank report and it will open up a page for you just like this. Now, this is the page on which all of our operations will be performed. This page may seem a bit overwhelming, but there's nothing to worry about. We'll go through it together. So firstly, we'll have to import the dataset that is provided in the description below. Now we'll go here in the top corner where it is written get data. We'll click on it and then we'll click on Excel workbook. Now we can see two files here, that is DAX customers and DAX orders. These two files are linked in the description down below, so you can download them from the Google Drive and work on it with me. So one by one, we'll download both of these files. Firstly, we'll download the customer file. So a window opens up. So you have to click on the checkbox right next to the word customers, and it will show you a preview of what data is present in that particular Excel sheet. And we do not have to worry about anything right now. We can just load it. Now that the customers table is loaded, we'll load the next table, that is the orders table. It's the same procedure that we have to follow. Okay. Now that both of our tables have been loaded, we'll just take a look at what we are dealing with right now. So on the left hand side, there is a panel here with report view, table view, model view, and DAX query view. We'll go into the table view. So as you can see here in the customers table, there is the name of the customers, the order ID with which they have placed the orders, the order date, product ID, city and state. And in the orders table, there is the order ID, which is the same one as the one in the customer's ID. And there is the product ID, product, state, selling price, cost, and quantity. So in order to calculate the number of orders, we need to find a column that has unique values. What does unique value mean? It means that each row in that column will have a different numeric value or a text value. So if we go into the name section, we cannot assume that every customer will have a unique name. For example, here only we can see that Madhav, Madhav, Madhav is repeated. Rishabh, Rishabh, Rishabh is repeated, and so on. So we won't find the number of unique orders that have been placed. There will be a lot of overlap. But what we can see here in the order ID is that I believe all of these order IDs are unique. And we can test it out as well. We'll do it as we go. So we'll use the order ID to find out how many total orders have been placed. So we'll come back to the report view section. And what we'll do here is go on the right side in the data section and right click on orders and select new measure. So a small window has opened up on above the panel here and it is written measure. So we'll change the word measure to count of orders. Okay. Now what do we want to do? We want to count. We want to total the number of orders. So we'll write count. And then what do we want to count? So here we can see it is suggesting us that it is orders and the order ID, because firstly we had decided that we'll be using the order ID column to find out the total number of orders placed. So we'll click on it, we'll close the bracket here and we'll press enter. Now what you can see on the right side is that there is a new table or a new measure that has been created with a calculator symbol in front of it. And we'll click on it and a bar graph opens up. Now, if you see the value here, if you hover over it, it shows you that the count of orders is 100. That means the total number of orders that were placed are 100. To better visualize it, we'll come into the visualization section. And here you can see above the R script, a card symbol is given. So we'll click on the bar that we have created and we'll click on the card and it will convert into a numeric value. That is the total number of orders that are placed are 100. So congratulations, just like this, we have written our first DAX query. Now that we have written our first DAX query, it will be a lot easier to understand what the definition actually means. So here we can see what was the data that we used. We used the order ID column in the orders table. What was the analysis that was to be performed? We wanted to analyze how many orders have been placed in total. What was the count of orders? And what was the expression that we used? This is the expression right here. This is the syntax of a DAX query. Firstly, we give the query a name. You can give it any name of your choice. You can give it total orders, total count of orders. We gave it count of orders. Then we have to write an is equal to sign, an equals to operator that signifies or that shows Power BI that after equals to, we are writing a query. So you analyze it accordingly. After that, we write what function do we want to perform? That is called the DAX function. So in this case, we wanted to count the number of orders. So the function for it is count, as simple as that. Which table were we using? So we were using the orders table. And which column were we using in that orders table? That is the order ID column. This is the syntax of a DAX query. Now you might think that we can use this query for a number of other things as well, and you are absolutely right. So we'll come in the orders table and we see here that there is a product ID as well. So maybe we can use the product ID to find the total number of products that have been sold. That is a good idea. So let's do that. So now you know the procedure. We'll go into orders on the right hand side. We'll right click on it and we'll create a new measure, and this measure we can give it any name, so we'll give it total products. Okay, now you know the procedure. After the is equal to equals to operator, we'll write count because we want to count the total number of products. And what is Power BI suggesting us? That we use the product ID in orders to count the products. We'll close the bracket and we'll press enter. Now you can see a new measure has been created on the right hand side. So now we'll right click on the checkbox right here and it'll open up the same bar graph that we had seen while counting the orders. But what we see here is that there are 100 products. We'll just change it back to a card that is above the R. And what you can see here is there are 100 products and there are 100 orders. This seems a bit off. So let's just see if there is something that we are missing here. We came into the table view. We are in the orders table. And here we can see in the product ID that is 101, 102, 103, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The product ID is repeating, so it cannot be used to find the total number of products because it is simply giving us the total number of rows of values that are present. So this is a completely wrong query that we have written. How do we solve it? It's very simple. What we have to do is we have to count only the unique values that are present in the row. If there are two ones, if there are 201s written here, the query should count any one of them and ignore any one of them that comes after it, any of its duplicates. So how do we do that? So we'll come on the right hand side in total products and we'll see our query written here. What we'll do is remove the word count from here and we'll write distinct count. You can see it right here. And what distinct count does is it counts only the unique values that are present in the row. It ignores all the other duplicates. So we'll press enter. So now what you can see is that it has changed from 100 to 10. That means there are total of 10 products out of which 100 orders have been created. So this seems about right. So this was the DAX query syntax that we had learned before. Now this is the same syntax that we have used in writing the distinct count function. So what did we do in distinct count? We have only included the values that are unique and we have ignored all the duplicates that are present in the product ID column. So what you can do for yourself is find the total number of cities from which customers have placed their orders or the total number of customer names because many of them have, as we have seen, have common names. Now back in the Power BI window, we can just make this a bit visually appealing, this card right here. So we'll go into the format visual tab and we'll click on format your visual. We'll go into general and under effects we can see that there is a shadow option here. We'll switch it on and as you can see there is a shadow appearing around the product. It just makes it a bit more visually appealing. That's it. You can format it as you like. You can even change the background if you want. You can change it to blue or something, right? And similarly, we can do it for the number of orders as well. But you do not have to do the same operation, the complete operation again. What you can do is click on total products, this card right here. Go into the top left corner, click on format print painter and click on count of orders. And it will apply all the styles that you have applied on total number of products. So we'll move on to our next DAX query, that is finding the total revenue that is earned by the owner. So we'll go into the table view and we can see here there is a selling price and there is a quantity. And the formula for total revenue is selling price into quantity. So what we can do is come on the main page, right click on orders and create a new measure. Now in this measure, we can write the name as total revenue. And here we'll write a function called SUMX. Now for SUMX, we have to give the table from which we are taking the values. So it is the orders table. And what columns are we taking? That is the selling price. And we are multiplying with the quantity. So the equation becomes sum of X orders table, the selling price column into the quantity column. And we'll enter it. And we have a new measure created here. We'll right click on the checkbox here and we can see there is a column, a bar chart, and we can see there is a bar chart created here. We can make it into a card and we can see that the total revenue that the owner has earned is 933,000 and some decimal points. So if you want to show it to somebody, you do not want to show the decimal points. So what we can do is go into format visual and in the callout value, you can click on the callout value and here you can adjust the number of decimal places that have to be showed. So it is set on auto. You can set it to 1 or you can set it to 0. So now it is rounded off to 934,000, 934K. Similarly, what we can do is use the format painter and format it, but formatting again puts all the effects of the previous value itself. So no worries, we'll just go here and we'll change it to 0 again. There. Now we have the total revenue as well. So here we'll understand what we have written in the query for total revenue. SUMX is a DAX query function which calculates values row-wise. So in the total revenue measure, we used the SUMX function in the orders table and calculated row-wise the order quantity multiplied the order selling price. Sum of X means that we have taken each of these rows individually, we have multiplied the selling price and the quantity for each of these rows, found a number, and then added that number together to find the total revenue. What does that mean? We have multiplied 300 by 21, we have gotten a number. We have multiplied 575 by 19, we got a number. Similarly, for all the 100 values, we have done that, and the number that we have got, the new column that we have got, we have added that to find the total revenue. But you'll ask, why have we done that method? Isn't there any other method that we can use? There is. We'll go into the top panel here and we click on new column, and it will open up a same query section as we have worked on before. So we'll name it here revenue. And what is the formula for revenue? We go into the orders table and we find the selling price. We multiply it by the quantity in the orders table and we'll click on enter. So as you can see here, if you can perform some quick math, 300 into 21 is 6,300. Similarly, it has calculated for each of these rows individually. Now we come into our main page and we drag a card section here and we'll put the revenue that we have calculated right now here. And what you can see here is the same value that we have gotten by using two methods. So we'll just remove one of them and we'll keep the second one as it is. Now we come back to the table view section and here we'll create a new DAX query. So we want to calculate the total profit that the owner has earned by selling these products and these quantities. So we'll do the same thing. We'll create a new column. We'll name it profit, right? And here we'll write selling price minus the cost price. We'll put both of these values in the bracket so as to allow the BODMAS rule to work. We'll have the subtraction first and then we'll multiply the subtracted value with the quantity that is ordered. We'll click on enter and we'll have all the values. What we'll do is we'll just visualize it again. Yes. So here we can see that this is the value that we have gotten. We'll do the same thing here. We'll format painter and we have gotten 595k as the total profit. Here on the right hand side, you can see in the field that the sum of profit is calculated. So that means that Power BI is adding up all these values in the profit column to show us the total sum of profit that has been earned by the owner. But you may be thinking, well, we can do that in the quick measure section as well. And you must be thinking that we can do that in the quick measure section as well. So we'll try that as well. So in the data view, we'll create a new measure and we'll name it grand profit for now. I'll explain the difference when we move ahead. So we'll sum the order's selling price and we'll subtract it by the sum of orders cost price. We'll put both of these in a bracket and we'll multiply it by the sum of the order's quantity. And we'll press enter and we'll have a new measure called grand profit created on the right hand side. Come on the main page here and we'll right click on grand profit and you can see here that the value is too huge. Now since this being the profit that we have calculated, we have some idea that the profit should be not more than the total revenue that has been earned, because the profit is a small part of the total revenue when you remove the cost from it. So 61 million is the wrong thing. But why did we get 62 million? Using this formula, but by using this formula, we got 62 million. But by using the other formula, we got a profit of 595,000. Both of these should be same or one of these is wrong. We'll understand why. What we did in the second part was that we summed the total number of selling prices, the total number of cost prices, and the quantity individually. That is, if we take the look at this example, we have the total of selling price as 500, cost price as 300, and the quantity as 10. So we added the columns lengthwise and we got this value, and then we multiplied it by using the formula. So we got 1700, which is the wrong value. But when we use this formula, sum of x, as we had used earlier, this applies the formula row-wise, that is calculating the profit for each row individually, and in the end, it only adds the profit. That is why we have gotten such huge differences. This is why we have got such huge differences, one being 62 million and one being 595,000. So for now, remember that to always calculate profits and such values in row-wise calculations. So we'll remove this 62 million value as it is wrong. Now for the last query, we'll use a filter. We'll understand how a filter works in DAX query, and we'll find out how many orders or how many people have ordered only from Maharashtra. There are many states that have been mentioned in the state column, but we'll find out only how many orders have been placed from the state of Maharashtra. So how will we do that? So we'll right click on orders, we'll create a new measure. Here we'll name it revenue Maharashtra, and we'll use the function called calculate. And what do we have to calculate from? We have to calculate from the total revenue that we have calculated earlier, and on what we are calculating, what is the criteria for the filter. So in the customers column, we have the state is equal to, and we'll write the spelling should be absolutely correct here, in the state of Maharashtra. We'll enter and it will create a new measure right here. We'll go into our main page and we'll right click on it. We'll choose the cart function, and here we have the revenue for the state of Maharashtra only. So this was the basic tutorial on how to use DAX queries in Power BI. I hope you liked the video. There will be more such coming up. Thank you.